You were taught to be agreeable, to smile, nod, fit in. You were told that if you were nice, respectful, and followed the rules, the world would reward you. That was a lie. The impact of shifting norms. And if you're still playing by the old rules, you're already obsolete. Let's talk about the man who followed the script and almost lost himself in the process. His name was Eli, 29. He grew up hearing phrases like "don't make waves," "be polite," and "just be yourself." But as the world shifted, faster, louder, harsher, Eli's passive identity turned into a cage. He didn't know it yet, but the self-image he had been programmed with was killing his potential. Shifting norms aren't about opinions, they're about algorithms, cultural algorithms, and the math is simple. If your identity doesn't adapt to changing social physics, you become invisible. Eli had a good heart. People liked him. He showed up to work on time, didn't complain, stayed out of trouble, but year after year he got passed up, overlooked, ignored. Promotions skipped him, relationships fizzled, no one remembered his name. He wasn't hated, he was forgettable, and in today's world, forgettable is fatal. The culture no longer rewards neutrality. We're in a gravitational pull toward polarity. If you don't define your edge, the system flattens you into the background. Eli didn't have a criminal record. He wasn't broke, he wasn't toxic, but he was soft. In a world that respects sharp lines, Eli was all blur. This isn't a story about rebellion, it's a story about relevance. Self-image is not a mirror. It's a code. And the men who thrive in 2025 are the ones who rewire that code. Eli's turning point came on a Tuesday. Same shirt, same commute, same invisible energy. But that day, his boss asked him to train a new hire. A 24-year-old who talked louder, moved faster, and wasn't afraid to challenge. 3 months later, that kid got the promotion Eli wanted. He sat in his car, stunned. Not because it was unfair, but because it was predictable. He had built his entire life around being agreeable, and the system rewarded aggression. That night, Eli Googled, "Why do nice guys finish last?" But he already knew the answer. The self-image he clung to was out of date, out of sync, out of orbit. He needed a rewrite. Let's run the math. Cultural gravity the rate at which identity norms shift due to algorithmic feedback loops and social virality. Self-image velocity, your ability to adapt identity under pressure while retaining core integrity. When cultural gravity exceeds self-image velocity, collapse occurs. That's what Eli was experiencing, not failure, but identity lag. And here's the truth, the most dangerous identity is the one that used to work. Eli wasn't broken, he was outdated. The centurion version of Eli didn't throw away who he was, he sharpened it. He started posting bold opinions online, not reckless ones, but rooted ones, no more neutrality. He took voice lessons to project more power in meetings, practiced microaggressions of confidence, eye contact, controlled silence, decisive language. He rewrote his wardrobe, not to impress others, but to signal precision. He studied storytelling, learned how to speak in headlines, because in the modern algorithm, attention is a weapon. And if your self-image doesn't capture attention, it won't survive the next shift. Within 6 months, Eli got a raise. Not because he begged, but because people started listening. He became a magnet, not for approval, but for gravity. Let me be clear, this isn't about faking confidence, it's about building a new orbital path, a trajectory. Scrolls resist change, they defend the past, they say things like, "I shouldn't have to do that to be respected." But centurions run the math, they adapt their identity without losing their soul. Self-image is a software update, not a surrender. And in the age of AI, virality, and social volatility, your ability to reprogram your image determines your altitude. So if you're watching this, ask yourself, who am I becoming? Not who was I raised to be, not who was I 5 years ago. Who am I becoming? Most men won't ask that. They'll cling to outdated norms. Wait for recognition that will never come. Blame the system instead of upgrading themselves. Eli did that too, for a decade. But the second he changed his orbit, the algorithm responded. You don't need to be louder. You need to be sharper. You don't need to fake it. You need to forge it. You don't need to betray yourself. You need to upgrade yourself. The self-image of 2015 won't survive 2025. You are either rewriting or erasing. Eli chose to rewrite, and the shift? It wasn't just outer success, it was inner ignition. His life felt like fire again. Challenge returned, direction returned, power returned. You want that? Then stop waiting. Pull out your notebook. Write this down. What parts of my identity are obsolete? What new behaviors signal higher standards? Where am I still waiting to be picked? Who must I become to lead in this new era? Run that every Sunday. Adjust, sharpen, adapt. This is the self-image NASA path. It's not emotional, it's orbital. And if you lag behind the pull of cultural gravity, you will get crushed. Eli's story isn't unique, it's a mirror. Centurions aren't perfect, but they're precise, and they're watching you right now. Fix your image, fix your orbit, or keep pretending the old you is still enough. Join OLP 365 or keep pretending the silence is strength until it leaves you with nothing.